Welcome to the Chaos List here on SHAUN STACKHOUSE Reacts. What's going on, everybody? I'm here with Chris Knight of the Real Review 3000, and he is not looking well. So, what has been going on in the world of pop culture that you've noticed lately, Chris?
Besides, I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
No. There's all sorts of crazy crap out there right now. I mean, heck, this week, I think it was this week or late last week, they announced that Bond will be moving to November now.
Yeah,
Bond, for the Corona, SARS, whatever it is. It's a
my Corona.
My Corona.
You know what's messed up is
my little coffin one.
The cans of Lysol say that it kills the coronavirus.
It does.
It always has.
Well, see, but the thing is, you got to remember, coronavirus is it's COVID-19. Let's if we're
really quick. What's up to Jason Miller and Nindroid in the chat? What's up, guys?
Hi, guys. So Corona is just the type, and COVID-19 is what it is. So Corona is just it looks like a sun. So when they zoom in on it and get down to the very nitty-gritty of the virus, it looks like a sun. It has points coming out of the core and all that. That's why it's called Corona. So that's what it means. It kills that type of virus. So yes, it does effectively, as far as I've heard, it still does kill coronavirus and COVID-19. It's just
what's up, Danny?
What's up?
Yeah, like Android says, more people die from the flu. I've heard that.
And the thing is that they're not mentioning that. The scare here, guys, is that
the real scare for the coronavirus, from what I've read, is for elderly people.
Elderly people with underlying health concerns. But the thing people have to remember is what's freaking people out is when this first got announced, when it first started happening, the mortality rate was at 5+%. The mortality rate for the flu is 2.2, I think, right now. So it is so far up. But what's happening is as we get more idea of who has been exposed to it, where those numbers are coming down. So last I heard it's around 3.2. So it's dropping. And the more people we find out that have either been exposed to it or have it that aren't dying, that number will continue to fall. And it almost inevitably it's going to fall below the flu.
But of course, those
numbers sound good, except if you're in Italy.
Well,
9,000 confirmed cases.
Yeah,
but see, the thing is, the news loves to like predict doom and gloom and always tell us the sky's falling for one reason or another.
Yeah,
So you know what? I'm just gonna say, as a Christian, I believe, we all our time is marked. You know what I'm saying? So if I go by the coronavirus or I go in my sleep, it doesn't really matter to me because it'll be my time. So, you can't let yourself live in fear of these viruses or what have you. Be careful. I'm not saying don't go and cut your fingers and touch a bunch of stuff, but use some common sense.
Wash your hands up to right
about
what there.
You're saying, but what's fearful is certain things that you used to could do, you can't do now. Certain parts of the country you used to could travel, you can't travel now. So that's concerning to a lot of people.
Well, you can travel. Nothing's stopping anybody right now in the States from traveling.
You cannot go to Italy.
Oh, no.
I've got friends that's going on cruises now, and they're being.
But you shouldn't
exaggerate. Is that before you get on this cruise? I got a coworker that's going the end of this month. They have to take their temperature, and if there's any sign of any kind of cough or something, they are not going to let them get on the ship. Because right now, there's one ship off the coast of California that has, I think, 20-something, what I heard, and they're not letting it dock. So can you imagine being on the ship 2 or 3 weeks?
Well, yeah, that's originally what happened with that cruise liner, right?
Okay, so cruise lines are like germ prisons.
Oh, sure.
And I mean, even when you go on a cruise before it's, before all this came up, they had Rainier's, lysine, was that it or something? I don't know. They have several different types
glycerine.
They have several types of things that break out on boats really commonly, and you just got to be careful about it. And it all goes back to taking care of yourself. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face until you wash your hands if you have to. Don't jump in the septic tank like Sean likes to do. Things like that.
Let people cough in your mouth directly.
Yeah, definitely that.
And that was my favorite pastime. I have to admit, I'm very, very disappointed that I cannot
going up to people, grabbing them by the face, and saying, "Hey, Chris,
cough in my mouth now." Just do it. Do it. Do it now. Do it now.
Get to the chopper. Okay. Yes. So Bond is being moved back because of COVID-19. Zach Brown Band just announced that they're postponing their tour.
Yeah, so did Love Bites. They're not.
Yeah, Love Bites. The MLB.
Also, Sierra, because she's pregnant now. Her doctor told her it wouldn't be wise to travel.
Who's pregnant?
Sierra.
Oh,
Russell,
yeah.
You know who else is pregnant?
Wilson's wife.
You know who else is pregnant? Katy Perry, and it's mine.
Yeah, in your dreams.
Yeah,
very much so.
Don't ask about those. No, don't. Yeah, so all this stuff is happening. MLB, NFL, NHL, and MLB, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and NHL, NBA, NFL.
Perp is in the house. What's up, Perp?
All those guys have announced precautions they're taking.
I'll tell you what, I would love to own some stock in Germex right about now.
Oh yeah, tell me about
doubt.
it. It's the only stock that's going up right now. We're gonna, before this is over, we're all gonna be paying 99
sanitizer, boy.
Yeah. Before this is all over, we're gonna be paying 99 cents a gallon again. I hope.
You know what? It's gonna be like this.
They can raise that thing to $5 a gallon now. People would buy it.
Hey, Laura, glad you could make it. Good to see you here. But you know what it's going to be? It's going to be the scene towards the end of Trading Places where Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd are on the stock exchange floor, and they're like, "Not now, not now, now," and they're like, "Take that."
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The Super Bowl actress is pregnant.
Melissa Benoist?
That's what an android says.
But no.
Whenever you're on the phone, because I can't see what anybody's saying.
Yeah.
Terrence will be devastated. I think the thing. I don't know if he's going to pop in or not. But are you, Danny? How far away from home are you?
Say again.
How far away from home are you?
20 minutes.
Okay. Do you want to get into the questions now, or do you want to wait until you get home?
I'm whatever y'all want to do.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
You're a little scratchy, but I mean, I can hear you enough to ask questions. But whatever y'all want to do.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Chris Perp says, Chris, I see you creeping to 1K. Yeah, yes. Chris is getting up there. He's getting up there.
I'm like, I don't know. I looked earlier. I was 47 away. I think I'm back at 48 away. But it fluctuates.
Let's circle back around to the Supergirl pregnant thing. How can a Kryptonian become pregnant?
Superman.
Well, obviously, but that's his cousin. So, I mean,
hey, listen, if it's got a little Dukes of Hazzard to it,
I mean, Clark did grow up on a farm.
If you were Bo and Luke Duke and Daisy came a courting, would you?
Wait. One of the Duke boys was Clark's father in Smallville.
That's true. That's true.
I'm seeing what's going on here.
Schneider?
John Schneider, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. It's been a while since. Oh, I hate when it does that to the phone. The phone makes it turn sideways. It's
That's
weird.
all right. It's
No,
just
it's fine.
Avatar. But man, I wonder how they're going to. Well, they're probably about done shooting for the season here before too long. So, she should most likely have the baby during off season.
Yeah, well, that would be a good idea because I don't think a pregnant Supergirl is really going to fit into the plot. If they can write that one in,
they would have to do a lot of shots where they don't like on a lot of shows where like the character's where the person's pregnant but the character's not. They do a lot of shots where it doesn't show the belly and they use body doubles for everything else. So
it's true. They could. I mean, they could. I just don't think they'd want to. They might put it on hiatus.
To me. So I'm going to drop off and I'll see you in 15 minutes.
Okay, man. That's cool.
I can barely hear what you're saying.
No problem.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, we'll go ahead and get into the questions here, and I'll go ahead and remove Danny since he's frozen. And let's see.
Hey, Sean,
what's up?
Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. God damn it, Chris! You made me sing Frozen.
That's right. You said it, not me.
Yeah, Laura says pregnant Supergirl won't fit into the costume uniform. Yeah, that's actually right.
It'll cradle the baby better.
That Kryptonian stitching, it breathes.
Don't ask how Sean knows that.
Because I'm Superman. Come on, shut up, Chris. First question, Stig, what's going on?
Hey, Stig. What's going on?
Stig, do you want to come on? I can send you the link.
Yeah. Come on, Stig. It'd be great to have you on. Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes. No. Maybe.
Yeah. Time for early hiatus. I think that that's probably what they'll have to do about that is if she doesn't have. I mean, because that's 9 months. I mean, I guess if she just announced it or if we just found out, she's probably 3 months into it. So they might have enough time to wait.
I'm super happy for her.
Send away, Stig.
What up, Terrence?
Terrence.
Hello.
It's a party tonight.
What's going on, my friend?
What's going on, Terrence?
I walked outside and looked up and realized that it was raining. And then once the water touched my face, then it stopped because I didn't want to get wet.
So the question is on my mind, and I'm sure on everybody else's mind. Was it or was it not raining men?
Oh, God, Sean.
It's raining men.
All right. The only question.
Unfortunately, there were no bodies falling from the sky, but that would have been interesting.
Stig.
Hi.
What's going on?
Stig, what's going on? Terrence, I have one question for you, and it's not as stupid as Sean's. In a fight between Terrence and Chuck Norris, who would win?
Chuck Norris is definitely the better martial artist, but I believe that I would get in a couple of hits before he blinks, and then I end up dying.
I thought that you might say that Terrence and Chuck Norris would actually feel as kindred spirits and therefore would no longer fight, but be the worst enemy of anyone who crossed their paths. Therefore, after.
Well, I mean, that's assuming that we meet under very specific circumstances.
Okay, gotcha.
Naturally, I would respect Chuck Norris, and once he learns about me, I would imagine that he would have some form of respect for me, but it's hard to say. He might just.
Terrence, speaking of Chuck Norris, I mean, you grew up watching Walker, Texas Ranger, right?
Yeah, and his movies and
But you saw he was always wearing like really tight jeans, and you saw how high he could get his legs up when he kicked. So I think what happened is what we know now today is pajama jeans. I think they may have invented them for him back in the day. Because you can
And those look like denim. Those look like nice starched denim.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a stretch, though.
I mean, I have my experience in kicking in jeans. It's not the most comfortable thing to do. In fact, I think there have been a couple of moments where my balls have been very upset at me for doing that. But seeing Chuck Norris do that, I can tell you from experience that it's absolutely possible, but it's very important to be extremely flexible if you're going to do something like that, especially in restricting clothing.
Yes.
I have
what's going on?
I have never kicked in any jeans, but to be fair, I don't even know anyone named Gene, so.
well, yeah. I mean, maybe one day.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I gotta say, Stig, it's good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a second. So, guys,
I did send you an email, Terrence, but you never replied.
You know what? When I checked, when you told me it was in the spam box. My email sent it there for some damn reason. When you had told me to check that, it was like after the fact, and I'm like, damn it is in the damn spam box.
Laura, thank you so much for hanging in with us for a couple of minutes. Enjoy Maddo and have a great night.
Yes.
So, guys, how this works, we have 5 topics that I have chosen, and I actually got a couple of topic ideas from Chris and Danny, because, I mean, you know how February and March are. The news cycle is just.
I don't talk shit on my month.
I know. This is when Chris turns 52.
I'm not 52. 51. Get it straight. No, just kidding.
Here's the first topic. Guardians of the Galaxy will be in Thor 4. Vin Diesel may have pulled a Tom Holland while promoting his new film. Via comic book, Diesel confirmed that the Guardians of the Galaxy will appear in Thor: Love and Thunder. Diesel then seemed to remember that Marvel hadn't announced his involvement with Love and Thunder before, saying, "That'll be very interesting. Nobody knows," admitted Diesel. "Maybe I shouldn't have said anything."
That sounds like him.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a Tom Holland thing to do, truthfully, but I mean, Diesel. Do you guys think that's going to hurt Vin Diesel moving forward with Disney?
I guarantee 99.9% of the time these things are planned purposefully. This is their way of getting it out there.
All right, it could be. Stig, what do you think?
I don't know. Yeah, that's the honest answer. I don't know. Maybe it's planned, maybe it's not. But I don't think Disney will, punish them for it. Okay. Well, you never know. Disney's a bit of a
the fascist right.
Oh, I wasn't going to go that far, but
I'm sorry.
They can be a bit harsh and strict.
They can be. Terrence, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, if you're not Brie Larson, I would imagine that the punishment will be swift and just. And the reason why I say that is because she has said some very interesting and colorful things, and Kevin Feige and Disney just pat her on the back. They're like, "Good job, Brie Larson. For that, you are getting a sequel to your movie." So I think that
like you and I were talking the other night, Terrence, you're a minority too, and would you be allotted the same great things that she was for being a white female? Probably not.
Well, number one, I would not be as stupid as she is.
Well, that's true.
She says a lot of stuff without thinking. And then she tries to backtrack it, like when she said that she did all her own stunts, and she found it insulting that Chris Hemsworth compared her to the best stunt person in Hollywood, which is Tom Cruise.
Very much.
That was bad. And but then, later on when she won her award for best fight scene over every single fighting scene in any movie that year, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He goes, I have 2 stunt doubles. See, I'm a nice woman. I'm like, but didn't you say like you didn't have them like 10 times? Like, I mean,
she doesn't know what she's saying. Her brain
So
shuts off.
She's a twat. That's what it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
yeah, it's like I don't hate the woman, but at the same time, I'm like, look, I know that under the right directors that you can do very good dramatic acting. I've seen that, but for some reason, as soon as you were let into the MCU and given the position that you've been given, your head has just got bigger than the universe that you fight in, which is bad.
That's a true story. That is a true story. All right. Well, moving right along to topic number 2.
Oh, Sean, I wanted to say that I think that Chris Hemsworth and them, they will be fine. Like as long as it's not repetitive in terms of doing things that they're told not to do, they should be fine.
So, I think that because Taika Waititi is doing Love and Thunder again, right?
Yeah, he's a director.
So I think if you mix in the humor of the Guardians and the humor of Taika Waititi in Thor 4, I think it might actually, because see, I was not on board with Love and Thunder at all when they announced it, but now since the Guardians are going to be in it, if you can kind of mesh their personalities together, I think it could be a lot of fun.
I think it could be fun too, but what I'm thinking is possible is that these characters will probably take a back seat to Jane Foster Thor. And I don't want them being stepped upon to elevate this character. Like I don't want to see any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you see, with Thor being, I guess, part of the Guardians of the Galaxy now, I'm worried that they're gonna, like Terrence said, step on them because they stepped on him pretty badly. I mean, it wasn't absolutely horrible, but there are at times it was like, what the hell are they doing? Why are they doing this?
There are certain things where I was like, okay, that Thor would just never hand over his kingdom like that.
Exactly.
And he specifically did it. Like now bear in mind, like I do like Valkyrie, but it's like for him to hand over his kingdom to a female, it just seemed very forced and matching of the times. I'm like, there was no real reason for him to do that. Especially after all he's been through with his father and everything. He just gives up the crown and stuff, huh? There is no like, I'll be back. I just need to do a special mission. It was just like, here you go. I'm done. I'm moving on. It just didn't really make any sense. I didn't like that part.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And
yeah, there was absolutely some agenda behind that.
I do not disagree.
All right. So moving on to topic number 2. Matt Reeves shares his first photo of the Batmobile. So I've added a photo of the 3 shots down here for your viewing pleasure. For the first time in almost a decade, Batman's next solo movie is finally in production. Robert Pattinson's Dark Knight is also getting a new ride for a new era. Director Matt Reeves has shared an advanced look at the Batman with 3 pictures of the new Batmobile. And I have to admit, guys, looking at this picture, I mean, if this is Terrence, you and I have talked in depth about how this could possibly be the Long Halloween. And, the Long Halloween is very early in Batman's career. So if this is the Long Halloween or based on Long Halloween, I could definitely see how this could be like one of his, original, prototype Batmobiles.
Well, first I should start off by saying that I very much like the design of it. It reminds me of like the Adam West Batman Batmobile, but just kind of a little bit more updated.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put it in the context of whatever this movie's supposed to be, in his early years and him being a detective, he's going to have to drive around a lot, probably in the daytime to some degree. So his vehicle needs to be able to blend in when he wants it to blend in, and whenever he needs to bring out the weapons or whatever. As you can see, there are some components built in, but it's really more subtle than anything. So when he's driving along the road, what better way than to throw off the criminals by them thinking that, oh, Batman's not here yet. Little do you know, he's already next to you, and then next thing you know, a missile just comes out and blows up your car or something. And then there's so many interesting things that you can do with that, and his element of surprise. It adds to the creepiness. It adds to his detective abilities to be able to infiltrate a place and not be noticed until he wants to be noticed.
That might be. I think that, okay, there's several things when I saw this. I thought, first off, it honest to God looks more like it belongs in Mad Max than it does Batman. But at the same time, I thought about that a little bit longer. And I was like, well, you know what? If this is year one, the long Halloween, whatever, but really early in his career, perhaps he's doing this in his garage at Wayne Manor, not down in the Batcave. We don't even know if the Batcave is going to exist yet. I assume it might, but
I think it's like year 2, right? Year 2.
Well,
3.
We don't know yet.
Okay, but let
me finish what I was going to say. Here's the thing: it looks like it's something that he himself would be able to work on. It doesn't look so high tech and out of this world. And yes, I know he's a smart man and he can work on that stuff. It looks like something that is serviceable for what he needs, much like what Terrence was saying. He's going to have to get around. He's going to have to, it has to blend in, but it's a serviceable car that looks tough and can probably take some damage. So I started thinking more about it. I'm like, I guess if you think about it, when you're first starting, because if you think about how Nolan handled the first bat suit, it was basically just light riot gear and climbing gear, and that's how he did it. So I mean, that's kind of what this is. This car is built from obviously a stock car, but he's added much to it. I agree with Terrence at the fact that you can look on the hood and you can see where there could be hidden components. I'm not sure yet, but the engine, the way it's in there, this all looks like something he would have done himself to customize it to what he thinks at the moment when this movie starts or when he gets into this that he needs.
And the one thing I like about it most of all is the fact that we've gone back to the point where the Batmobile doesn't need to be a freaking tank.
No, it looks like a 60s, like a late 60s model Camaro almost.
As soon as I saw it, the first thing that popped to my mind was the car from Supernatural.
Okay, right. but the thing that I feel like a lot of people are missing is that when you're bringing up Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, it completely doesn't work in most discussions because that universe was told to us specifically that it was going to be as realistic as possible. Yes. Those rules do not apply to this.
No.
Well, we don't know yet. Again, what do we know about this?
So far? but Matt Reeves has not told us that this movie is supposed to be realistic. He told us that he's making a Batman movie.
You look at that car, you look at the bike that we've seen so far, those look realistic.
Yeah, that's true, but that doesn't mean that they can't evolve into something more comic book like.
Also, you have to think that like the Batman suit is going to have CGI on it. Who knows what type of CGI might be on the vehicles as well.
Exactly, Sean. I was just about to mention that. Like, there's no way that, like, when you say that something is going to be completely realistic, you have already put limitations on your creativity in terms of what you can do with that character. If you remove those restrictions, you can then do whatever you want that's similar to whatever comic book you want to base it off of.
I think
you don't have to worry about that.
I think you can shoot Batman and make it look realistic, but still add the element of non-realistic things in it just as long as it holds a realistic component, like the way it looks, not cartoony. I'm just saying, at first glance, that's what I see from it. I don't know what they're going to do to it. None of us do. I mean,
we have some ideas because he talked about it.
Yeah,
so we do have some notions, but just because something looks realistic again does not mean that it's not going to eventually turn into something that's more comic book like.
Well, I understand.
In fact, in a lot of comic book movies, they often start realistic enough to pull the audience in, but then you get pulled into this very fascinating world that you don't have in real life.
You see, Terrence, Chris likes to be a hater, and so I have to say this.
The hate is swelling in you now. Use it. I am unarmed. Strike me down with it. I will strike him down with it.
Can I chime in?
Yes,
you may.
Well, if you look at the pictures, right, especially the second one, that stuff in front of the Batmobile looks like something you'd see in a car workshop.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, you can drive the car in there and lift it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would explain the lamps that you see in the first picture, because those are safety lamps, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is the prototype Batcave. He doesn't have a Batcave yet.
Stig, you're a genius.
What did I just tell you?
I don't know when you talk. I don't listen to
garage.
And or it could also be a garage with a test area, because it looks to be really long. So I think Bruce owns this and is using it as a test area workshop, and he's just built the first Batmobile. It's just a prototype. So the Batmobile is a prototype, the suit is a prototype, the bike is a prototype, and the Batcave.
Okay.
That's right. It could very well be one of the many places that he has set up that he might need to go into real quick, because he's still trying to figure out the kinks of how to do this thing. I mean, it does take time.
And that's that's what I said. It looks like something he himself has created, and that he himself is basically making it serviceable for what he needs right now. And you're right, Terrence. You're absolutely right. That we have no clue exactly what this is going to end up by the end of the movie.
Yeah, and look in the background on the second picture. It's full of crates.
Yeah,
it looks to be an abandoned warehouse, because you can see the columns. All the paint is scraped off. It's old.
Yep.
And there's a little manhole there. Lift that up and you can flush water in when you're cleaning up.
You can also pee in the manhole too.
Yeah.
That's right, Stig. It could very well be like, if someone is tracking him, maybe he has a place where he can not only get out, but he could also flush out his enemies at the same time.
He can't be driving that car all the way back to Wayne Manor.
No,
right.
People would just follow him. So this is kind of his first hideout. First hideout.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how they handle this, because I don't know if there's been a movie iteration of Batman that has not had a quote unquote Bat cave.
And I don't want to see his damn parents get shot again, though. I mean, come on.
They'll probably gloss over that. It'll probably be really brief kind of thing.
But you could technically say
those two characters are probably the most killed characters in movie history.
Yes.
But guys, couldn't you technically say that Ben Affleck's Batman didn't technically have a Bat cave since Wayne Manor burned down?
No, because he had a Bat cave in Batman v Superman, where he was training and creating the kryptonite bombs. That was his Bat cave.
Yeah,
had the water and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're right.
Yeah. No, they've all had a Bat cave. Every last one of them.
And to be fair, each one of them has a different starting point. It's either he's been Batman, or he's just starting, or you have a trilogy to where by the mid movie he's Batman, and then so on and so on. So
all right. So before we go on to our next topic, I want to share the screen with you fine folks. All right, Terrence, I know you're going to be excited about this. First look at Harley Quinn season 2 brings back the Penguin. It says, after Harley Quinn season 1, it's a new day in Gotham City. Batman is gone. The Joker is out of the picture, and both of the Justice League and Legion of Doom are MIA. However, Harley Quinn and her crew are still around, and they're looking to make Gotham their city. DC Universe has released the first preview scene from Harley Quinn season 2. In this clip, Penguin Wayne Knight holds Harley Kelly Cuoco captive in Iceberg Lounge. Of course he would. Additionally, Harley's ice prison suggests that Mr. Freeze may have joined forces with Penguin. Unfortunately for Penguin, Harley's far too unpredictable and unpredictable to hold for too long. She's also got something very important to Penguin, and only one of them is walking away from this fight. The second season of Harley Quinn will also make its debut on Sana Latha as Selena Kyle, Catwoman, and Brianna Cuoco, I guess that's Kaylee Cuoco's sister, is Barbara Gordon, Batgirl. Oh, it's going to be nice to have Batgirl in this. There might be other new additions as well.
No spoilers, please.
Oh, these aren't spoilers.
But just heads up. I haven't seen it yet. I'm about to start watching.
Oh no! None of this is spoiler. Don't worry. The second season is supposed to hit April 3rd. So I know that Terrence is a big fan of the Harley Quinn show, and it took me about five episodes before I became a fan. And
you read those things just about, well, actually a little better than Zod does.
Thanks,
man. Like, because here's the thing with the Harley Quinn show. Like, in terms of, I think it's better than the Birds of Prey movie, even though I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the show is much more like the comic books, specifically focused on Harley and her entire trials.
If they would have made Birds of Prey like in the vein of the Harley Quinn animated show, it would have been lit.
Oh, it would have.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have, had people's interest necessarily, because the marketing is the problem. That was the getting shot in the knee before they could even take off.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people,
it didn't help.
It didn't help, Stig.
Right.
Definitely not. And
I mean, the director saying she wanted to use the movie to smash the patriarchy wasn't helping either.
Correct. Exactly. That's one of the things too. It was the marketing, and they said a lot of things that were distasteful. So there was multiple problems. Shooting both kneecaps, if you will.
Pretty much.
But the show is very good in showcasing the Harley Quinn character and her humor that is accustomed to the comic books. And the other characters,
like it's hyper violent. I mean, a lot of cussing. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, it's an adult cartoon.
Oh yeah,
it's more adult than like Family Guy and The Simpsons.
Well, yeah, because it's not on TV.
Well,
it's on a streaming service.
Yeah,
it's Family Guy and The Simpsons are, because they come on network television, there is still some sort of censoring involved.
Exactly.
That's where with Harley Quinn, it's way over the line.
I will say there's an exception to that.
What's going on, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, Trap? I will say there's an exception to that with Family Guy. When they do their DVD releases or they do their Too Hot for TV stuff,
they do uncensored stuff.
That stuff can get really bad really quick.
It can, but
not like Harley Quinn, because the Harley Quinn's like that 100% of the time. It's 0 to 100 like that. I mean, and
it's made to be that like that. It lets you know right away that this is for adults, this is not for families, and you are going to get very specific things. So you will know within the first episode if you can hang with that or not. You know, and the other characters, they are presented in a way to where Harley Quinn would picture them, which is why they're a little more offset than how, you know, someone is used to them being. You know, they're not going to necessarily be, you know, as serious because they're in the confines of that storytelling. So they're going to have moments where you laugh at them, where you're like, oh, I don't normally find this villain funny, but in the Harley Quinn show, this villain's going to be funny.
Trap, since we're your dinner entertainment, I think you need to send us like a $10 super chat for our services. I'm just saying.
Well, if he's eating dinner, it's up to us to not say anything that's too much to swallow.
Just arrived. What am I missing? Lisa, you're always missing things. Always. That's why you live in Vegas now. You left me here.
And you're right to do that, because before long, I'm going to leave him here too and go to Vegas.
I hate you all.
Chris,
yes.
Are you actually going to Vegas?
Oh, I just got back from Vegas. I go to Vegas quite a bit, whether or not for a long period of time or not. But no, when my kids
I would like to go to Vegas.
I'm going to Vegas, like moving up, boom.
So within a 2 months time span, how often would you say you go to Vegas?
2-3 times.
Dang.
Isn't that a bit of a gamble?
No, because I don't gamble.
I would like to go to Vegas in late April.
Well,
it's nice then.
Well, Chris, you said 2 to 3 times. The thing that I noticed about the 2 to 3 times is that each one of those times I somehow was not invited on the Vegas trip.
Yeah, see?
Because I'm not going for that long. Sometimes I'm flying right out, coming right back.
You know what? What's up, Danny?
What's up?
See, that makes a lot of sense, Chris. You know, I feel like, you know, that's a wonderful excuse to leave me behind, but I understand.
I mean,
oh my Lord! I can only imagine what this conversation.
Drive away from Vegas, Chris. You could like drive out to see Terrence. You know, you'll know it's Terrence because you're gonna see this big T signal in the sign. You'll be like, "That's where he is."
Exactly. I mean, I might even have like someone's car. Like, I borrowed it just so I can beep the horn, like beep beep, Terrence is here, and then
I can totally see you do that, man. Beep beep, Terrence is here.
Now you're gonna have to put the pedal to the metal because the cops will definitely be after us. But once they find out that I'm going to Vegas, then they should have a more reasonable understanding to back off.
Fair enough.
All right, now this brings us to our third topic, guys. The Mandalorian wraps production on season 2. Both Gina Carano and the cinematographer Baz Iodine took to Instagram this week to announce production on this series. Next round of episodes has come to an end. I'm excited to see where season 2 is going to take us.
You're not excited. You full of shit. Because you cancel your damn subscription.
I canceled my subscription because that's the only thing Disney Plus had.
Now they have the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I know, and I'm gonna get my subscription.
Clone Wars is awesome. All the old cartoons for when I watched when I was a kid.
I already watched all those, dude. I binged all that stuff before I canceled.
The new Aladdin was on there, which is awesome. I'm hoping they put Mulan on there.
I wouldn't say.
A new Mulan, like it's gonna be hot. I don't care.
Yeah, the new Mulan, it looks better than the Lion King and Aladdin, which I thought were very mediocre. I'm like, nah, that's not it.
Lion King, I wasn't too big a fan of. I like the cartoon much better, but I was pleasantly surprised with Will Smith's interpretation of the genie because Robin Williams killed it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Will Smith did a good job of adding his flair.
I thought Will Smith was decent, but that Jafar, lack of magic.
Jafar.
What's his name?
Nobody's going to replace the bird, Jeffrey Godfrey. I mean, he is that bird.
Danny, what happened, man? I thought Jafar was like He had no testosterone.
No,
he had
didn't.
no testosterone. I would have
You
snatched
know who
that
should have
staff
been
and
Jafar?
beat the shit out of him.
They should have paid Ben Kingsley to be Jafar.
Ooh,
There you go. That's perfect. See, that's so much better than what I saw.
That was the worst part of Aladdin is Jafar. And if they had gotten a good Jafar, that movie probably would have been a hell of a lot better. Not probably, it would have been.
Well, I mean, but the movie lacked magic, though. That was the problem. There was nothing magical about it. Like when you watch the animation, it felt magical.
The best part was when Will Smith was doing his craziness. Like when he was doing the first wish, I can remember that. Then when he made him the prince and first came into the town, that big to-do he did. To me, that was the cool parts of it.
You know what? I chalk that up to like me. No matter what Will Smith does, like even if I don't like the movie he's in, I like Will Smith. So it's like he gets a sort of pass as to where others I'd send him to the incinerator.
To the incinerator with you fools.
Now, when we talked last night, you said you didn't think Will Smith would be a good Neo.
No, definitely not.
You want to give him a pass on that? If he was Neo?
Well, if like it sounds like it's not fitting only because we got Keanu Reeves and Hugo Weaving. But if that were to happen, I have a feeling that, you know, his Will Smith charm I'd have been like, all right, like, fine, Mr. Smith.
I'll tell you, Hugo Weaving, to me, definitely saved number 2. Mr. Anderson.
I didn't hate number 2. Like I like that the fight scenes in number 2, but the story was trash.
Hey, Hot Space. Glad
Who
you
the hell is Hot
Space doing today. Hot Space, first of all, that is a fantastic photo of Freddie Mercury. And Hot Space is somebody that comes in a lot on my stream.
I'm not laughing at your Hot Space. I'm laughing at that picture. It kind of
no, you can't laugh at that picture.
Dude, that's Freddie Mercury.
I'm a Freddie Mercury fan, but
represent, man. Come on.
Just popping that up, man. Another one, Bites the Dust. That's one of my favorite songs.
Boom, boom, boom.
But
boom, boom, boom.
I want to see that movie, man, but I never saw it.
Wait, Danny, or should we just go back to last night? Yep.
But wait, you talking about the Rami Malek Queen movie?
I want to see it. I love those kind of movies.
Yo, Freddie Mercury Rami Malek killed it as Freddie Mercury.
Oh,
it was crazy. It was crazy, Danny.
You know what I thought?
I want to see that one, and I want to see Rocket Man.
Rocket Man, I don't think carries it nearly as well as Bohemian Rhapsody.
Rocket Man was good too, man. Like,
it was, but man, the stories just don't compare.
The way that they did the music for Bohemian Rhapsody by going back and using a mix between Freddie Mercury and Mark Martel and remixing how that sounded and recreating a lot of that stuff made for a much better sounding. Because when I watched Rocket Man, I like Rocket Man, but the problem is every time he goes to sing, I hear somebody other.
Okay, but this is what I'll say between the two. I think that Joel Edgerton did a great job in his role, just like Rami Malek did. But if I were to compare the storytelling of the two movies, I think that Rocket Man has better storytelling than Bohemian Rhapsody. If I'm going to be honest.
Well, you see, they had a lot to fit into to Bohemian Rhapsody.
There was so much, in the history that
that Rocket Man doesn't have a lot, but it is a single person they're focusing on.
That wasn't my issue. Like, no, I know. Whenever you do, like, I mean, it's like with Straight Outta Compton. I think that movie just, killed it in terms of how you should do a biography for a type of group or a singer. Like, that's just, to me, the top of the crop. But
Easy and Dre, they were awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like that. Yeah, Ice Cube's son just looked just like Cube. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
One question. Any of y'all have stars?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
Last night I turned the TV after I got the to chat with you, Terrence, and guess what was on?
Equilibrium.
No, it was what's the one with the evil Superman?
Superman 3?
Brightburn.
Oh, Brightburn.
Oh, yeah. Like I thought that was cool for a Superman ripoff. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And now, guys, we have a message from our sponsors.
Are you looking to find the latest in geek culture, gaming news, or awesome opinion pieces while supporting fellow Fandom Menace members? There's a new site for that. Go to chaoscentral.com and all your needs will be met. Find a wide range of products on our Teespring account. All proceeds of Chaos Central merch go to the KC team members and continuing updates to our website. To donate to the Chaos Central cause or to our channels, all links can be found in the description box below. When I do when I do voiceover work, I find by drinking it comes out a lot better.
Sean, is that you in that green leotard?
I wish.
No, somebody had on a green like
that actually
what
was
the hell.
You can go on Google Images and find that one.
Yeah.
Sean, before I get into the Mandalorian season 2, if you can allow me about 2 minutes to go across the street. Like I have a neighbor that has like the baby Yoda, and I was thinking I could beat him up real quick and steal it and then come back and talk about
it. Only you.
Stig, is that Stig down there?
That's Stig.
Yeah.
Stig's being very quiet tonight.
Well, you guys are babbling and I'm being polite.
We're sorry, Stig.
It's okay.
Let Stig start this one.
All right. So, Stig, we're going to go to topic number 4.
We haven't talked about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, we did.
No, we haven't.
No.
Okay.
We already read it. We just haven't talked about it.
All right. Stig, what are your thoughts on the Mandalorian season 2 and where you think they could go?
They could go anywhere, but they do need to improve on the sloppy writing.
I agree.
But I don't know. It seems like everything Disney's doing now is damaged.
May I ask what do you consider the sloppy writing?
I can give you three examples.
Okay.
First one is the Imperial helmets on Tatooine. The Empire had no presence on Tatooine, so why are the helmets there? Makes no sense.
Okay.
Because it was Outer Rim, and there was nothing the Empire could gain to control Tatooine, which is why the gangsters ruled it. So it's the one planet where they shouldn't be. Secondly, Gina Carano's character is a veteran from the Endor battle, and when she's introduced, she helps the Mandalorian help that village, right, against the AT-ST, and she says there's nothing on this planet that can do damage to an AT-ST, even though it's a forested planet like Endor, and the Ewoks used lumber to defeat AT-STs. It's actually the only thing we've seen defeat an AT-ST in the old movies. It's lumber.
And then they end up going to basically doing stuff that they did by digging a pit to have it fall into, which is something that the Ewoks would have done.
Or they could have just gone back and fetched the Mandalorian ship and shot it.
There you go.
Stuff like that is sloppy. And if you want a solid product, you can't have cracks like that.
So I agree with everything you said, Stig. But going into season 2, it sounds like we might be introduced to the Jedi, which could be very cool or very, very bad if they don't understand how to work with the Jedi.
Oh, they don't. But when they announced the show, they said this show would have nothing to do with the Force or the Jedi.
Exactly.
It would be basically about crime in the galaxy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now they're going back probably to try and fix stuff in the sequel trilogy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hope they don't make Moff Gideon force sensitive. I don't want him to be force sensitive.
God, no. If they do that, it'll be dead.
That's how he survived.
Actually, Chris, Do you remember when I was on talking about the Mandalorian on your channel?
Yeah.
And I said, I bet you they're gonna introduce bounty hunters from the OT.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they've added Bosk.
Yep. And you see, we talked about this. I mean, okay, so the only thing I disagree with, and because I got to go here in a second, so let me get this out real quick here. The only thing I disagree with Stieg on is, and it's not really a huge disagreement. It's just we don't know, is what I would say, is with Tatooine. With the Empire being not destroyed, not done, just in tatters, they may have run for the Outer Rim, maybe. And I mean, I don't necessarily 100% disagree with Stieg, because he's right. They never were there. The time that they show up was only for droids. That was the only reason why they were there. They weren't there because it was Tatooine. It was just
they knew about it, because when Darth Maul went there, he could have told the Emperor about it when he found.
Well, they knew about it because of that scene. They knew about it because the Emperor would have known about
Anakin's whereabouts.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they had a reason to be there.
Hey, when stuff is in shambles, you go all over the place.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing I can say about that. That they could be there because they were just trying to regroup somewhere. And as we already seen in the series, is that they've regrouped in small groups and bigger groups with these people, that people. I mean, I don't know.
They were dirty too. Like, they weren't all clean. They look like those rugged stormtroopers. They're like, man, we got to go somewhere where they'll never find us. What's that one sand place?
Remember now that Darth Vader's from there, so
yeah, but I don't think that means anything. Darth Vader's done. Nobody cares about Darth Vader now.
Well, you make a good point, Chris. I'll give you that, because they could have fled to Tatooine after things went south. So that's a possible explanation, but they could have mentioned it.
That's the thing, but that's still doesn't discount your shoddy writing or your shoddy.
The Tusken Raiders they meet, right? They trade a micro binocular to be able to pass.
Yeah,
the Tusken Raiders hate technology. They would have attacked on sight if they even pulled it out.
And Stig, like, what about Stig? Like, from Jon Favreau's perspective, he doesn't like to treat the fans like they're stupid. So probably that's why he didn't explain it, and he figured that just by us seeing it, individuals like you, myself, Chris, whoever, we would be able to kind of gather that in our own minds that that's probably what happened.
Yeah, and even the Mandalorian himself, he's a foundling, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He's not from Mandalore, and they found him and they raised him. Dave Filoni, I think it was in Rebels, said that Jango Fett was not considered a Mandalorian because he wasn't born on Mandalore.
Right.
And everyone removed their helmets back then, and that's just 10 years before the Mandalorian show happens. So everyone removed their helmets, and that's in something Filoni also wrote. So how does it work then? If Jango Fett is not a true Mandalorian because he wasn't born on Mandalore, yet the Mandalorian is.
I think that might be something to where, because their numbers are so small, maybe they felt like that was the best thing to do, to not, remove your helmet and expose yourself to anybody for protective purposes.
It's not uncommon for people to pick and choose certain traditions and stuff from a culture.
True.
Maybe he just picked. And
but they said it was always the way.
Right. And I felt like the reason why that was probably highlighted that much was to show us that maybe that was the one that they wanted to adopt. This is the way, we don't remove our helmets. I'm guessing.
I don't know, but if Filoni wrote both, so I mean, for God's sake, pick one.
Right.
You're contradicting yourself, Mr. Filoni.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem is that they do. And Steve, we've talked about this before on the Mandalorian Roundtable. Is that they do that. I mean, he blatantly does it, and you even said why, and you sent me a clip one time of I can't remember what it was, but it was from the Clone Wars, I think, or maybe it was Rebels. And it was like it was a direct opposite of what they said in The Mandalorian. It's like you got to pick, like you said, you got to pick.
I know what y'all saying, but in Rebels and in Clone Wars, there were different sets of Mandalorians. So who's to say that this one tribe practiced this type of religion or this type of procedure and the other tribe didn't? We don't know all the full details of what the tribes on Mandalorian did. So that's why the black sword is there to kind of come to bring them all together. Whoever has the black lightsaber kind of unites them.
Yeah, so but we don't in the Clone Wars too, and both tribes remove their helmets. But you know, like I've said before, I don't think it's a terrible show, you know, at all. I just think it's a bit sloppy, and a lot of stuff could have been avoided with
I agree.
But compared to the last 3 Star Wars movies, Mandalorian is
Oh yes.
So Chris, I know you have to jump off here soon, but I want to address Symbiote Sam's question here. He says, I might have missed it, but what do you all think about Palpatine being a clone and Rey's father being a failed Palpatine clone?
That shit is stupid. Trash.
Wait. I'll tell you this. They did exactly what they've been doing the whole time. Disney doesn't understand. They can't throw canon out and they can't throw the EU out and then use it. Because this is in a comic book series, and I can't remember the name of it. I don't know. Anyways, they did this in the comic books, and they mentioned it in a few books that there was rumors that Palpatine had purposely cloned himself and Darth Vader in case they both or one or the other were taken out, and then they used it. But what's even worse about this is that they didn't even.
Nindroid says it may have been called Dark Empire.
That's it. Yes. But they didn't even attempt to even let that known in the movie. So
exactly.
I don't care what you do in a book. Fine. Put it in the book. You know what? Here, this book right here. The only thing that's out in this book that's not in Star Wars, really, that you could even say matters, is when he goes to Tashi Station and meets Biggs or talks to Biggs, and it's actually a cut scene from the original film. So they did make it in there. It just wasn't necessary. So you didn't lose anything. It's in here because this is a book, but you cannot write a book after the fact to make up for what your movie doesn't do.
I agree.
You got sloppy writing.
Exactly.
You gotta realize though, the transition from a book to a movie is always going to lead. There's very few movies that get.
Danny, yeah, it's a null and void point right there, because here's the thing: they didn't do that. They didn't write the book first. They did the movie. Now they're writing a book to fill in what the movie didn't do.
The whole point.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter what's in the book because you didn't set it up in the movies. Like if someone didn't tell me about those books, I would have no idea about that. It feels very random and forced.
They admitted that that's why they've written this book, is to fill in the plot holes.
Yeah. And they've done it the whole trilogy. They said, if you want to know why C-3PO's arm is red, you have to read this comic book. If you want to know why the Star Destroyer is on Jakku, you have to read this book, and you have to read this. They're purposely using the lack of storytelling and the missing plot holes to sell other things, and they're doing it on purpose.
That's bad writing 101, though, Chris.
It is, but they're doing it on purpose so they can sell more. And you're right, it's bad writing. And
I disagree.
Well, you see, but the facts are there.
All right. So let's move on to the next topic, because I know Chris has got to get out of here, and Chris will argue for hours when it comes to Star Wars.
Yeah, I will.
Johnny Depp is reportedly eyed for the Joker role. According to David James of We Got This Covered, Warner Brothers has started looking for actors to play as Joker in the upcoming sequels of the Batman, and Depp is reportedly one of the prime candidates for the role. The publication noted that this could be a sign that the actor's career troubles might be coming to an end. Considering Depp's powerful performance performances in his previous films, there was no doubt that he could play the character well. James said that Depp was a natural fit for the eccentric Joker. And I have to agree.
I only see Captain Jack Sparrow as the Joker. That's all I see.
Wait until he's in the makeup, man.
Okay, but look, in terms of this, like getting Johnny Depp out of the hole that he's in, he's only in that hole because of that bitch Amber Heard. That's just facts. I knew she was a liar. But anyway, like she ruined his career. He barely was able to be Grindelwald in that Fantastic Beasts movie. That was only interesting because of his character and nothing else.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Terrence.
But Johnny Depp is a great actor, and what he does best are character pieces. Anytime that he can play a character, like I'm telling you, there are very few actors that are as good as playing characters in movies as Johnny Depp.
That's true.
You know, and actually, I think Johnny Depp was considered for the role of the Joker, like at least once before.
Maybe.
You know,
I think he'd be best suited for the Riddler.
Steve,
he can easily do that too. He can play any of those characters.
Steve, what do you think?
I don't see him as a Joker.
I'm with Danny on this. I don't see him as the Joker, but then again, I didn't think Heath Ledger would be a good Joker.
Did anybody think Jack Nicholson would be a good Joker? Honestly,
yeah.
No,
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Okay, but to Stig made a good point about the whole Heath Ledger thing. Like, if you say Johnny Depp, you will have enough people like myself that are like, he could easily do that, and then you'll have a few that may be like Danny, like I don't see it yet. But that's still a lot better than where Heath Ledger was, where most people didn't think he could do it.
Well, that's a lot of characters because most people didn't think Ben Affleck could be Batman, and he is the best one to me.
That's right.
All right.
So
we gotta get going. So, guys, you guys have a great night. Okay.
All right, Chris.
You man, don't threaten me.
Have a splendid evening, Chris.
Steve, good being with you. Terrence, same with you. Danny, great.
Yep.
Sean, go suck an egg.
Thank you.
But yeah, Sean, I think that's a good idea.
Hey, Rosetta, what's going on? I'm doing pretty good.
I think he killed Riddler. I'm not too sure about Batman. I mean,
no, I'd be cool with Riddler or Batman, or not Batman, Riddler or Joker.
What about
it would be hard pressed for him to play Joker.
Ooh,
two people.
Two-Face would be good.
3 people have killed Joker.
Yeah.
Well, okay. In terms of the Joker, there's only one actor that I've ever seen that's at the bottom, and that would be Jared Leto. Like, he just didn't fit the character. I don't want to hear nothing about, if he had 2 hours, that would have been even worse because then it'd give you more stuff to criticize. He just didn't work. He's Morbius. He's perfect as Morbius. I saw that from the trailer. He is Morbius. He's not Joker. So I think that someone as versatile as Johnny Depp, it doesn't matter what Batman villain you put him as. Like, I wouldn't be against any of it. Like, I say, lay him out on the table. What do you think Mr. Depp should play? You couldn't name me a Batman villain to where I'd be like, nah, he can't do that.
Here's a question, though. Have any of you ever seen Johnny Depp pull off looking intimidating?
No. Let me think.
Not that I can think of.
Well, let me think. I would say the first thing that popped in my mind would probably be Sweeney Todd when he was that barber when he was fucking people up.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Haircuts. Like, he looked crazy as hell in that movie. I would never get my haircut by that guy.
He was a vampire in Barnabas Collins and looked geeky as hell.
Yeah, that was a silly movie though.
Shadows was trash. The old 60s
old Dark Shadows with
original Barnabas Collins.
Man, that show was awesome, buddy.
Yeah, even the reboot.
I didn't mind the new one, but I just it was made to be silly though. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
Like compare that to what I just said with Sweeney Todd. Those are completely different characters and personalities.
I just think Stig got a really good.
Jason Miller.
See him being intimidating and menacing, and that's the Joker.
Okay, but to be fair though, the Joker is not always intimidating. Sometimes he's just funny. Like compare.
Jason Miller said at the end of Secret Window. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but he was creepy and intimidating AF in that scene.
I think Johnny Depp would have to play the Joker that is creepy and funny, because if you compare, like, say, Jack Nicholson's Joker to Heath Ledger's Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker is funny as hell. Heath Ledger's Joker is the one where you want to leave the room. That's the difference between the two.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess. Well, he hasn't been cast. It's just a rumor.
It's just
true.
But if he does get cast, I guess give him a chance, because I was not thrilled about Pattinson as Batman.
I'm still not.
I did watch The Lighthouse, and holy shit, the guy can act.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a great movie. Him and Willem Dafoe. Stig.
I'm going to tell you what.
You're looking good in that suit.
I need it.
But Stig, to your point about The Lighthouse, see, there's a difference between me, like when I say that I don't see him as the character yet. It's not from a position of he can't act. I've seen his indie films. The dude can act. He's actually a great actor. And Christopher Nolan thinks like me, because he just put him in his movie with Denzel Washington's son called The Tenant, which will be coming out very soon. And Christopher Nolan is not going to pick a shitty actor to be in his movie. I'm just throwing that out there. But I'm just in the position of like, okay, I'm not doubting him as an actor, but it's very different to play a comic book character. You have to really be convincing, otherwise it ruins the entire movie. So he has to prove to me that he can be Batman, not so much that he can act. I know he can act, but Batman is an extreme challenge, because you have to be able to pull off Batman and Bruce Wayne at the same time.
Yep. And not all of them have been able to do that.
No, Ben Affleck's the only one that's been able to do both.
Yeah. Perfect. I mean, Keaton almost did it, but he was more of a Bruce. Well, when Keaton was like in full on Batman mode, sometimes like you looked at him and you saw Batman, but I think he was more structured for Bruce Wayne.
No.
That's right. Like, I mean, I like Michael Keaton. I like all the actors as long as they're not George Clooney. But Ben, he specifically said in the interview, this was when I was completely confident on him. First, I saw him in the outfit, and when he said in an interview, it's very important that I show the audience that there is a difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman. Bruce Wayne is the mask, and Batman is who he is. And that was the only time that I've heard an actor or even Batman fans say something like that. I don't even get that from a lot of Batman fans. They miss that very important detail.
It's facts. It's absolute fact, man. I mean, how can you not know that? I don't know.
Because a lot of people don't. It's like, just because you're a fan of something doesn't mean that you understand all the key components of what you like. And sometimes what you're missing is the most important thing.
You're right.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even have to understand it, because sometimes you just don't like something, or you do like something.
That's
just
right.
That's
right. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to move on to topic number 4. Oh, wait, no, we're going to move on to topic number 5. Mortal Kombat Legends promises blood and bad language. Danny, like this. Scorpion's Revenge trailer is going full red band for Mortal Kombat's first ever R-rated film. Essentially, the movie is a remix of the original Mortal Kombat storyline. Additionally, the video teases a potentially gory demise for Liu Kang when he faces Goro. There's also plenty of bad language as promised in the trailer itself. Danny, what are your thoughts?
We saw the trailer on Robert Storm's channel, me and Terrence, a couple nights ago.
Oh, the red band?
Yeah, and it is awesome. It is, the animation looks like, if you ever watch Black Samurai.
Yeah.
It looks that style. And it is very, very violent. It is very much like you see on the games, like when they do killing blows or punishing blows, it'll show the inside of the skull and stuff getting all fractured and broken up. That's
Nice.
how it's going. And we were talking about, I didn't care for in the first live action how that thing came out of Scorpion's hand. Now he has chains, man. These chains, man. He's just destroying people. So I am definitely thrilled about Mortal Kombat. I hope that this will build up enough steam and momentum to get people to go to the to the movie next year. Two things I'm concerned about Mortal Kombat movie. It's coming out in January, which is usually a bad time for a movie because based on the research and people I talk to, most time the studios are like, okay, we're gonna throw this out here and see whether or not it sticks to the wall or not. If it don't, then it goes in movie graveyard. And also, second thing, this is a first-time director. He's never directed a movie before. So those two things got me a little concerned. But if he has common sense, listens to people, not arrogant, and sticks to storylines, I'm thinking this Mortal Kombat will be a step in the right direction for that franchise.
I hope so, man. Stig, Terrence, are you guys excited for are you Mortal Kombat fans?
Stig, go first, and I'll go after you.
I guess I'm kind of a normie about Mortal Kombat. I absolutely remember playing the game with a friend for a whole summer when the first one came out. That was awesome. The violence, though, has to be in it because it's part of the DNA of the franchise. So when they're making it R-rated and bloody and stuff, that's good. It's supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be, a Tekken or a Street Fighter, right? It's Mortal Kombat. But
Tekken's pretty violent too.
Yeah, but there's no blood.
Oh.
It looks ouch though when they get kicked and stuff. But yeah, like I guess I agreed with everything Danny said. That a brand new director is kind of like a little warning lamp going off, and the January release, but it could still be great even if it's released in January. So I don't know. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I'll certainly watch it.
I agree with you 1,000%, Stig.
Fingers crossed. Before I let you go on to the Mortal Kombat thing, I'd like your comment on this, Terrence. Simon says, I think Bale did it best. I understand when people like Affleck, but Batman shouldn't kill people. And he goes on to say, I'm not saying that he hasn't, but in my opinion, I don't think he should kill people. Also, just another thing is that the movies shouldn't be just like the comics. To that, I will say, Batman doesn't go out to just kill people all willy-nilly. If Batman kills you, that's the only way that he can neutralize the situation.
That's kind of contradictive.
What is the human's name? You said Simon?
Simon, yes.
Okay, so first off, if you like Bale, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Nah.
I liked Christian Bale as well. I loved him in the role, but see, the difference between Christian Bale as Batman and Bruce Wayne versus Ben Affleck as Batman and Bruce Wayne is that Christian Bale, he was a better Bruce Wayne than he was Batman. I thought his Batman was dope, but it's just there was no separation. Like when he was Bruce Wayne, it was just basically Bruce Wayne wearing a Batman suit instead of him having a transformation. Yep. Like with Ben Affleck, when he was Bruce Wayne, he was suave, he had the suits, he was mingling and stuff like that. And then like at the beginning of Batman v Superman, when he was going into action, when he saw the Wayne Tower crumbling and when he went to save that girl, and then he looked up in the sky, even though he didn't have the Batman suit on, you saw the real personality coming out. And it was in that moment that I was like, he is Batman. He has the stare. And that told me that he's getting ready to fuck that Kryptonian up. I was worried for my boy Superman in that movie. I'm like, he is dead. So I think that's the difference, is that Ben knows how to play both sides instead of just one that happens to put on the mask. There's that.
But Terrence, if we take this back,
touch on the kill people thing.
Okay. So in terms
out the water.
Okay, so in terms of the killing people part, number one, Batman has a whole history, starting off with his first like 30 comic books where he's murdering people. In fact, in the very first issue, he brutally murdered 2 criminals. Like, it was one at the beginning that he tossed off a damn roof and the guy fell to his death, and it was another guy that he punched. So I'm just like, no, like, this dude has killed criminals before. He has used guns. That was also in a lot of his first comic books. But later on, it was like, okay, you know, he has to set up a code for himself, which happens to the majority of superheroes. There has to be a code and a separation from them and the villains that they fight. So even though no one is going to miss any sort of evil asshole running around doing people wrong, there still should be the whole, okay, maybe I don't just see an evil person and kill him right away. That's more of an anti-hero kind of thing. Yeah. However, if I do kill someone, it will be on the basis of like, okay, I have exhausted all my options, and to make sure that I save everybody else, this person's life has to be sacrificed.
That's what I was better say. If we were to take this back to the comic books and leave the movies out of it, Batman will generally only kill if that is his last resort. If he feels that you pose more of a threat to Gotham City, or to the world, you know, if he lets you live, then not to kill you. He has no choice but to kill you.
And it's like,
I respect what you and Terrence opinions, but on this one, y'all both are full of shit. And I'm going to tell you why you're full of shit.
Okay,
Terrence just said something about if he exhausts all means and stuff. That's what you said, Terrence. And you said,
like if you
So if that's the case, why in the hell is Joker still living? Why in the hell is Riddler still living? Penguin, all these other suckers that constantly keep getting out, and Batman can take them out, but he constantly shows them mercy and taking the Arkham.
Because
I can explain that. Well, first of all, in the comic books, the villains themselves, like, there are many times where he doesn't kill them, Danny. You know what I'm saying? And even the Joker, it's like he's said to Alfred, to Dick Grayson, or any of the other Robins that he's thought about killing them many times and hasn't. Now, the people in the comic books that he normally kills, especially in the earlier ones, factually are smaller level criminals. They're not so much the Joker, the Riddler, and Two-Face all the time.
So that's what I'm saying. That don't make sense.
No. The reason it does make sense is because the people like Joker and Riddler and Penguin and stuff like that he usually throws back into Arkham, they don't pose as much of a threat to Batman as somebody like Hush, or even the Red Hood.
Okay.
So with these big baddies, that Batman can barely put down. Batman almost got put down by Hush himself.
But Danny, what I'm telling you is that depending on which comic books you read, you will have him killing and him not killing. There will be more examples of him not killing than killing. So I'm just telling you, it depends on the story. But Batman has definitely killed people in the comics before.
I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying, based on what y'all were saying, y'all logic didn't make sense to me.
Well, when I said exhausted all options, we're talking about the most extreme situations, like the situations where there is no, I'm going to throw him back in Arkham, like a Riddler or the Joker, where you could possibly have a period of time where you don't have to deal with the villain. I'm talking about
the Joker has done that on Terrence, because right now, and I think you and I discussed this, had he killed the Joker, he would not become the Batman who laughs. Right now, that sucker is wrecking shop.
Right.
It's a combination of Joker and Batman. If Batman would have took care of business years ago, then this person wouldn't even have been alive right now. So if he comes to the big screen, I don't know what's going to happen. Because
that's a good example, but that also falls into what I said about there are many more examples of him not killing, but whenever he does kill, it has to be that everyone is in danger, or he feels that he has to take this person out to save a bunch of people. But that doesn't mean that that's going to always be his tactic. So to say that Batman doesn't kill is ridiculous when he does. But it has to be within certain contexts.
Dandelion.
It's all about the context.
Dandelion Fluff says killing is inconvenient, leaves no room to develop villainous characters. And on the surface, that's true, but you have to also keep in mind that most of these villains are 50 plus years old, so they've had plenty of time to develop their character arc.
Danny, how much like, okay, like we've discussed so many comic book related stuff, and you have admitted that I have put you on the stuff that you didn't know, and I feel like it always depends on the context in the story. It makes all the difference in the world, because you can't necessarily have Batman killing all the time. It has to be circumstantial, in the same way as to where Superman's going to get killed, or he's going to kill Doomsday, or he's going to kill this person, or he's going to kill the Joker. It's like, what's the storyline? Why is this person doing that?
I understand and I agree with what you're saying, Terrence. I was just saying, when y'all make a particular statement, my mind starts wheeling, okay? Y'all make statements and it sounds almost absolute. So when I see there's a crack in that absolution, then that's when I pose the question. What y'all were saying is that Batman doesn't kill unless it's some extreme or there's no other way out. I'm just saying that's not true, because if that was the case, Joker would have been dead years ago.
But Danny, as you know, though, I would have followed that up with explanations, as I just did. Like, it was just, I had to create a starting point based upon what, the Simon human had said. That's all I was doing. I had to start a basis, and then, me, I'm always going to explain it, because I feel like the explanation and the contexts make all the difference, especially when you're talking about these comic book characters.
I have to agree with
go ahead.
I'm agreeing with Danny on this, because if Batman kills henchmen and all that, he should have killed the Joker at one point, because there's been so many situations where there was no way out. So Danny has a point.
You're right.
Sure. You're right.
You have to go back.
He should, but
back to the scene in the Dark Knight where Joker, towards the end of the movie, where Joker says, "Kill you? I don't want to kill you.
You complete me or whatever."
Yeah.
I mean, I know in the whole totality that Batman can't kill the Joker, because that would just totally kill the storyline. But I think in the Batman Who Laughs, not Batman Who Laughs, but the Killing Joke, I don't know if Batman killed him or not at the end. That it goes off and it leaves you to interpret it however way you want to interpret it.
He didn't, because like the whole setup with how that ended was that the whole point of that storyline was for Joker to get Batman to understand a very vital point of humanity, that a lot of humanity is scum. Like, you think that I'm just this dark, twisted person, but I'm trying to show you that even the best person can be broken or humiliated if you put them in the right circumstances. Everybody has a breaking point. He's like, no, you're just crazy. And then he summed it up by telling him a joke at the very end, which actually made Batman laugh. Which never happens in the first place. And when he put his hand on his shoulder, that was the story's way of telling you that Batman at that moment completely understood the Joker. So there was no need to take him out. You could just take him back to Arkham, you knock him out, and you don't need to kill him, because he just taught you something. He taught the Batman something.
I think probably the wiser move, though, for all the Batman fans is to just accept that there's two Batmans, one who doesn't kill and one that does.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I agree, Stig.
I have no problem with that.
And Stig, like that's perfectly said, because like I'm saying, like it depends on the context. If you're telling me that this is a specific story, and someone tells me, Terrence, don't you think this is wrong or whatever, I'd say, well, what's the story? Let me watch the movie, let me read the comic, and then I will come back and say, well, he doesn't normally do this. However, and then I will explain to you why that's appropriate for that situation.
Yep.
Yeah, and you'd both be right, because unlike Star Wars, DC and Marvel don't have like a set canon. It's all over the place with different timelines, different versions.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
Stig, I got a question. Are you a fan of Star Wars canon or you're not?
I was a massive fan of the previous canon.
the Lucas canon.
Yeah, but the new one it's so all over the place. It's just.
But to me, it seems like the EU stories are better than the canon stories. I've read both.
Stig, let me ask you a story. Let me ask you a question, because we had a big debate on Danny's channel with Robert Storms a couple weeks ago. I know you've read so much of the EU. Okay, have you ever come across a gray Jedi?
No, not as a how do I put it, character class.
Mm-hmm.
It's more Jedis that don't necessarily agree with everything the Jedi Order stands for.
But they are Jedis.
Yeah, but they're still Jedi, like Qui-Gon Jinn.
Exactly.
He didn't agree with everything, but he's not a great Jedi. He's still a Jedi through and through.
Mm-hmm.
But he's disagreeing with them, and that's okay, because that's just a personality thing. It's not a.
Saying that you have to have the rank of Jedi to be a Jedi, even if you've mastered all of the powers of the Jedi. You have to have a title.
Yeah, and what started the Gray Jedi thing was the video games, because you could level up your character by both picking light side powers and dark side. So you could end up 50-50, right? With Darth Revan in the KOTOR games could be 50-50 focused on dark and light, and that's where the Gray Jedi thing came from. People said, oh, my Revan is a gray one. He's on both sides, right?
Gotcha.
But it was never a thing that George Lucas said. You're either a Jedi or you're not.
Yeah.
You can still use the Force if you're not a Jedi, but you had to have had training.
Right.
Yeah, that's what Robert was saying. If you pass the trials and whatever things that the Jedi require of you, you were a Jedi. If you didn't do that, you were just a Force user. Or if you went totally the opposite way, you were a Sith, or
more like a dark or fallen Jedi. Because if you're a Sith, you need training from a Sith.
Rosetta, thank you for that $2 super chat. You are amazing. I can't wait for you to come visit Chris and I. It's this week, right? In Kansas City. We're gonna have a lot of fun. You get some rest.
I wanted to real quick touch upon what Stig was saying about the DC and Marvel canon, because the way that I go about it when someone is getting into comic books, especially if it's Marvel and DC, I always tell them the same thing. You have your canon and then you have your non-canon. The canon is basically when you read about a character, what you read about the majority of the time is the canon for the character. You have canon, and then you have what they call Elseworld stories, one-shot stories, which means that allows the writers to do something different from what all the other writers have established with that character for the last 10 years, last 20 years, and so on. So, like, for example, the Joker having godlike powers is not canon. That's a special story where he is dealing with the character Mxyzptlk, and he gives him his power, and then he tricks him into getting the rest of his power. This dude is wiping out the entire universe and reshaping it in his image. That's not canon for the typical Joker. That, like, if I were to do a movie like that tomorrow, the masses who don't read comic books, they'd be like, since when can Joker do that? And they would be right to ask that, because that's not what they get from that character most of the time. He doesn't have literal powers. He's the Joker.
So I guess what you could say is that the foundation of Batman, right, is Bruce Wayne loses his parents. He has Alfred. He has a Batcave. All that.
Right.
That's the basic foundation. But then you have a different canon kind of for each writer.
Yes, and yeah, and right, and that's right. In Batman's case, it all depends on what they're doing with the story because Batman killing was a canon for a long time, and then later on, the more recognizable ones, like what people would get from the movies and stuff, where he has a code and he likes to send them to Arkham and knock them out before he does the killing. I'm like, yes, that has a precedence as well. However, if in those movies you see that he is killing someone, there's also a precedence for that, and it would have to be talked to a moment.
It seems like a lot of animation shows that we see kind of wreck shots, some of the kind of comic book canon, because I think something that you see tends to stick with you more than something that you read in certain instances. So I think when a lot of people, and I know I base a lot of my opinions and comments on things that I see, because I kind of absorb all kind of cartoons and stuff. So I think sometimes maybe that particular canon, how it's presented to us on TV, overshadows the person that reads the comic book more in a lot of cases.
That's well said, Danny, because really when you're having discussions like the MCU, for example, right? Like I refer to myself as a Marvel fan. Like I am a fan of the MCU, but the reason why I usually state that for new individuals that I'm speaking to is that whatever MCU movie we're talking about, I'm going to have knowledge of those characters and stories. There might be one or two here and there that I don't know about, but just overall, I have an idea with what they're working with, and I'm coming at it with already established knowledge as to where this person, they don't know. They have to get it from the movie and follow that particular continuity. So they don't really have a strong basis for what's right and what's canon, or this person can't do that power. Yes, they can. There's 30 comic books that say that they can do it. And that's when those conversations get more interesting, and that's why when you and me, Danny, when we have discussions and you have these questions and stuff, it can just get very interesting. I'm like, Danny, did you know that yada, yada, yada? And you're like, oh shit. And that's where these creators get their ideas from. They could be pulling from a bunch of different comic books over different decades. And I might be able to see that, like, oh shit, they're pulling from everything. Okay, now I thought I knew what the movie was going to be. It's like this Batman movie. I don't know if it's going to be year 1, year 2, the long Halloween. I don't really know, but it seems like they're pulling from that. But I won't know until I actually see a damn trailer, or maybe even the movie itself, depending on how tricky the trailer is and out of context stuff. But yeah.
Now, Terrence, last night I gave you 10 iconic cartoon characters. You only knew 3 of them. I felt hurt.
Right. Yeah. I only knew 3 of them, and the rest I didn't know what was up. Now, Danny, like you see how you felt there. Like that's kind of how I feel when like whenever these DC or Marvel movies, like if they say something like, well, in the cartoon he couldn't fly. in the last 50 some odd comic books, he definitely learned how to fly because he fell into a batch of chemicals.
That's like a thing that happened with the Wonder Woman movie, because when she fought,
can she fly or not? I like
she can fly.
And so when she had
not in the movie, she can't. She just jumped real far, don't she?
No, she didn't jump. She was hovering in air, up in the air with Ares.
Right. Yeah, when she went up, when he had fucked up.
If she could fly, then why would she be lassoing daggone lightning bolts?
Yeah, and why does it need?
We don't know why.
Danny, that's a good question, but I'll tell this is how I've explained that. And even with the other Wonder Woman stuff, the movie, the way that the DCEU goes about what they showcase with the characters' abilities, it seems to be a progression. So like we know, like I know for sure that Wonder Woman can fly. Like she doesn't need her little invisible jet. Like she can straight up fly. But the movies,
I'm talking about in the movies. I know in the comic book. I don't think she can fly in the movies.
In the movies, it's a little tricky though. Because in the movies, I've only seen her like with Ares, I've seen her kind of hover up a little bit. Wasn't nothing too big, but it was just a little bit. Because when she did that attack that killed him after he was talking shit about Steve Trevor. I'm like, hey, there it is. She might start flying. I actually said that out loud in the theater because I was excited because I thought she was going to start flying around. And then at the end of the movie, when she leaped off that building, you know, it just looked like really a far ass jump, but it seemed to be Easter eggs to where, like, hey, remember when she was doing this? Okay, now we're going to have her fly.
And then if she can fly, then why they got her in that gold suit with the wings?
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Golden Eagle armor. Well, that's just meant for special protection when she's dealing with certain opponents.
Okay. Yeah. And then also in Batman v Superman, Superman was in the air and she was getting ready to do that old Thunder God blast, whatever, and shit. He flew over there and stopped her ass before she could do anything.
Right.
So I thought Steve was saying something. Oh, that was you, Terrence.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying that it looks like in the movies we haven't seen any one particular scene where she's flying, but we've seen hints of that. So what I think is going to happen is either in Wonder Woman 84 or something, there will be a highlighted moment as to where she flies. And by the way the movies and shows like to do it, they like to highlight that kind of stuff when a character flies, when a character gets faster, when a character gets stronger, when they get a certain suit of armor. Okay, it always has to be a special moment.
But that's going back in time. So why would they showcase it back in time and not showcase it in Batman v Superman? That don't make sense.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying, Danny. But I think that in the situation with Batman v Superman, they probably wrote it in a way to where it didn't really need her to fly. And the way that the movies be doing it, it just seems to be that it has to be a specific situation where she's flying, to where it's no dispute that she jumped or any of that, like she's hovering. Like I'm talking about straight up flying, how Superman was doing in Man of Steel kind of stuff.
All right, guys, check this out. Check this out. And this is the scene I was talking about. Tell me what you think.
You're at the end of the scene. They ain't gonna show it.
God bless it.
Man, he fucked up, man. He had Wonder Woman, but as soon as he started talking shit about Steve Trevor, Danny, it was over.
Yeah.
I was not impressed with Ares.
Man, no. Ares was cool.
He's calling down the lightning on him.
Now, because Ares at one point in the fight near the beginning, he could have killed Wonder Woman, and he was also able to sway her with his talking.
Now she takes the full brunt of his lightning, man. He's like, holy shit.
Yeah, because she's Zeus's daughter.
Yeah. And look,
yeah, but okay, so I think this is the part where she kind of starts hovering.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like flying, but like watch.
Right here. There she goes.
So she's gonna be up there like
look, she's
hovering. That's a hover.
Man, listen.
She's still up in the air.
Because look, she jumped and then she stayed in that position. That's hovering.
Listen, that is just like on the Matrix when Trinity jumps up and then freeze.
Watch this. She's hovering there, and when she blasts him, she should be falling, but she's not. She's in the exact same spot. She's flying there.
Like Danny, it's like how I said in that. I think.
Here, even better. Watch. So she's hovering.
She's not flying. She's levitating.
Okay, well she's levitating, but
now I said hovering, but it's the same shit.
She's landing now.
It's like it's all graceful and shit. Like look at that. She's like she's not
falling, she's landing.
So Danny, like it's like how I said, I'm like, man, in that she's hovering, but like they haven't shown a scene where she's like flying to where there's no doubt you have to be on some serious drugs to say that she's not flying. You know, okay. So Danny, I think that we will see that at some point. It could be in Wonder Woman 84, it could be in Justice League 2. It's like because I know she can do it, like for me, I'm not really tripping on it. But it is kind of odd that they haven't shown her flying. But that just leads me to believe what they tend to do with these movies and shows. Like every single moment is highlighted. It's a pattern.
I have a
So
reason.
when she flying, that's gonna be like when Cap caught the hammer, right?
Well, if it's a scene, if it's a scene like let's say like when she's fighting Cheetah, let's say like that happens in Wonder Woman 84 when she's fighting Cheetah. Say Cheetah jumps up on one of the buildings or something, and she's like, "Yeah, Diana, you can't fly," or some shit, and then just the sky turns a crazy ass color, and she just flies and punches Cheetah in the fucking face. Like that would be that moment. It would be like and then we're like, "Damn, Cheetah died." Like Cheetah is dead.
Problem.
What's that?
She doesn't fly in Justice League and Batman v Superman.
She doesn't, no, but
yeah, that's what Danny is saying.
Me and Stig are on the same sheet of music. I don't know what y'all reading over there.
Come on, Danny. Like, hey, I just said that I acknowledge what you're saying, but then I also specifically said
the Justice League movie the way it is, man. I do not.
But Danny, to be fair, I just said that that's true. So we are on the same link.
You did. I'm messing with you, man.
Yeah. So like, okay. So, like I said, it is kind of odd. I only thought about it a couple of times, and that was really when somebody brought it up because I was paying attention to what's there. And when somebody goes, "I haven't seen that from the character," I'm like, "That's true. The character has not done that. There's probably a reason for that." Like,
but real talk, I'm just a little. If she can fly, I don't see the need for her lassoing and swinging from lightning bolt to lightning bolt.
Well, we don't.
But it look like it's gonna be a hype scene, so I'm ready to see that.
Danny, I will say this: even if we see Wonder Woman flying, there's very few things that's gonna look as epic as Wonder Woman swinging from lightning. I'm like,
you're right.
Hey, man,
you're right. I'm ready to see that.
Well, but like I said, if she knows how to fly, she would have done it in the Justice League movie because she needed to be able to fly in that one.
You know what? I mean, it's completely possible that the scenes where she flew were cut out.
Maybe she got grounded.
That's possible.
Okay, and then also, Stig, like not saying you're wrong or anything, but if the character can still accomplish said goal, then it would be hard for me to say that the character needed to, or there has to be a reason for it. I'm like, Wonder Woman was always able to get to where she needed to get to. She was always able to do her thing in fighting, and it didn't involve her flying. So that's why I'm thinking,
she might have got some kind of block because I'm pulling on Smallville now. It took him 10 years to take that first flight because he had some kind of confidence problem or he didn't believe in himself. And the only time he could do it was when he was under the influence, I think, of red kryptonite, and he seemed to not have that fear. So some kind of mental block in Clark's mind to keep him from flying until that 10th season.
Okay, Danny, since you want to bring up Smallville, I would bring up the episode when the Legion came. When the Legion came in and you had Lightning Lad and he was like, okay, we're going to go fly to get Chloe Sullivan. We believe that we should kill her because she has Brainiac inside of her. But you know, Clark, he's Superman.
He couldn't fly.
Yeah, and then he was surprised. He was like, "What you mean you can't fly?" And he actually was disappointed. He's like, "No tights, no flights. This is not the Superman that I know from the future." See, so they found a way to work it into the story. But this is why I'm going to tell you that is different because from the very beginning, when they were developing Smallville, they specifically said they're not going to have him fly.
No flights, no tights.
Right.
Just to play devil's advocate, though, in the first Wonder Woman movie, she has just left her home and she's discovering her powers.
Exactly.
So she might know how to fly yet, but like I said, she would have known it in Justice League and Batman v Superman.
Right. That's.
I think a mom would have probably pulled a coattail. Don't you think a mom would know how to fly?
I don't know if she's never left her home.
I don't know because Wonder Woman was formed
from clay. From clay.
She is actually like in the movie. Her mother let her believe that sword was the God Killer, but she is actually the God Killer.
Yeah,
but her mother may not have known though because like. When Zeus formed Diana and she actually has a black sister that's like might be a little bit better than her in terms of fighting. Sean, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So and then Ares like raised her and turned her against her sister Wonder Woman. I can't wait if they do that, so I can see people go, oh, they're forcing agenda. I'm like, no, this is actually the time when they're pulling from the comic book.
Come on.
Right. But anyway, most people don't know that, so it's gonna be funny when those conversations come up, and I'm gonna be the one going, well, actually.
Well, it doesn't mean the writer knew that though. The writer of the movie.
Stig, that'd be strange. I'm like, wait, so you didn't know nothing about the comics? I'm like, no, sir. Actually, I just thought I made it up. I'm like, well,
it just seems crazy if you're gonna write something not to research it.
Yeah,
look at
you see, sir, I was trying to force an agenda, and I see I failed because
oh my lord, let's not get on that horse tonight.
Well, look at the people who's writing Star Wars. They haven't even watched the movies.
Yeah.
Well, that's Kathleen Kennedy that said that stupid thing about there's no material. I mean, that's the craziest thing I ever heard.
Oh man, I smacked the heck out of them for that. But to my point with the whole Zeus forming Diana, like he made her special from the other Amazons. So there's so much that she ends up doing that surprises even them on a power level. So they can only know so much. And in the case of the DCEU, we don't really know how much her mother knows. Like when she was like, yeah, use this sword, is going to be the God killer and all that, even though Diana's the God killer. It could have been that the mother thought the damn sword was the God killer. Only to be like, oh shit.
I honestly think she thought the sword was the God killer.
Because there's no reason as to why. Let's just assume like, okay, yeah, she's keeping it from her daughter. What purpose would that serve? Diana, I want you to go out there thinking that this sword could take out a god, knowing that that's not the case. You are literally sending her to her death because she's believing wholeheartedly, like, yeah, mom, you said this sword is going to take out the god.
Not necessarily. I'm going to pull back something. You remember Last Dragon, and the sensei gave Bruce Leroy a belt, a belt buckle. He's like, yeah, follow this. You find. He was trying to teach him that he got to tap into his own mental. So maybe she was doing something similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true, Danny. But at least in Leroy's case, he was going up against a martial artist and not like
I'm just
a
saying.
wrath god.
I know, but I'm saying it's the same thing. Just she is in a power level that can handle that person. Bruce Leroy was in a power level that could handle Sho'nuff. He just didn't believe in himself until he's about to get his ass whipped, and he realized that he was in fact the master.
Okay, but let me tell you the big difference in that situation now that I thought about it. When he gave Bruce Leroy that belt at the beginning of the movie, Bruce Leroy was able to figure out what he was talking about. He went to him, asked a question, and then you had his master tell him, and he was disappointed. But he told him the lesson before he went to fight Sho'nuff. In the case of Wonder Woman's mom, if she was just like, here's the sword, it's the God killer, she never went back and had that conversation with the mom going, no, you are the God killer. You have to find it within yourself. That never happened. She just believed that and went out there, and the mom never told her anything else.
Yeah.
Who's
that's true.
Leroy?
Oh, from The Last Dragon, Stig, like it's this black guy that he's really obsessed with Bruce Lee, and it's like an old school martial arts movie.
It's a cult classic.
Yeah.
Never seen it, but I'm gonna look into it.
Oh, Stig, man, you gonna love it, Stig. Like I think you will. Like them characters, Bruce Leroy and Sho'nuff, the main villain of the movie that he has to fight, man. Like I think you're gonna find it interesting, and I think you will be chuckling.
It's one of those '80s movies, but it has a big cult following, kind of like Lost Boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and if I'm gonna be realistic, and if I'm gonna be honest, like, you know, I was Bruce Leroy when I was younger. I was a guy that like was watching his movies 80 times a day. I took martial arts, and he was one of my biggest inspirations. I mean, I'm pretty much that character. It felt real to me.
You know, a friend of mine and myself had watched Lethal Weapon too many times when we were a kid.
What's up, Dark?
Hey.
I went into a toy store, right? And we found one of those toy guns that has, you know, gunpowder in them.
Yeah.
My friend pulled the gunpowder rings out of the package, stuffed the gun in the store, and rolled around on the floor like rigs,
right?
shooting at people.
Yo,
we got thrown out.
Yo,
You surprised you ain't got arrested?
No,
no, he just said, "Damn fine weapons you're selling here." That's what
I wish I would have been there for that, Stig. That's awesome. Like, you know what, Stig? Like we need to find a way to where we could just watch all the Lethal Weapon movies together. Like, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Oh man, count me in.
Yeah, we should do a watch party.
We should. We could totally do that. But
I knew it, Danny. The 10 hours is gonna happen. I knew it.
Yeah,
not all at once.
I can watch all four.
We have a question that just rolled in from Simon. He says, in your guys' opinion, what is the best DCEU movie?
Man of Steel.
I'm not arguing with that. Man of Steel is one of my favorites. Man, I'm thinking of a few movies. I got Man of Steel in my head. I got Wonder Woman in my head. I have Shazam in my head. I have Aquaman in my head.
Oh, Terrence, come on, dog. Come on.
Hey, what is wrong with Shazam, Danny?
I love Shazam.
Shazam is on point. Like Danny, if you have read them Shazam comic books, man, it's hard.
I got Shazam comic books in my room right now.
Exactly. Then how could you say that you don't like Shazam? My heart, Danny.
No, you hurt my heart. You know good well,
Danny, I take care of your heart, but you be shooting me in mine.
Shazam was goofy as hell. He had more sense as a little boy than he did as Shazam.
But Shazam is supposed to be goofy. He's the dude that shows up to the Justice League and they all want to beat the crap out of him because they're being serious and he's acting like a child. Sean, does that not happen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but why is he okay? He's supposed to have the knowledge of Solomon.
Shazam number 1.
Why is he dumb as hell?
He's not dumb. He's very
why is he more serious as a child than he is as the adult?
Because that's how the character is. Billy was always more serious. Like Billy had this whole like cloud hanging over his head, and luckily by him getting the powers of Shazam, it just made things different. He didn't feel so helpless anymore. He felt like he could fit in. But when he's literally Shazam, it's like all those things that are buried in him comes out. Like he just feels good. He's like, look at me. I'm a hero. This is awesome. What can I do to fit in? He's like that really nice guy of the group that means everybody well. But there might be a consistency in terms of him maybe annoying the whole group. But they know that this is like one of the hearts of the group. Like they need him.
On what you just said, I'm going to say let's agree to disagree because I hate for my friends to waste their breath, and you just wasted about 2 minutes of your breath.
But Dan
said he's not dumb; he's just inexperienced.
Danny, how is it that you feel my boy is dumb?
You're wasting your breath. I did not like
Danny,
Shazam movie.
Okay.
It ain't. How many DCU movies is like 9?
No, like 7 or let me count them. Let's see. Man of Steel.
He's 7.
Batman v Superman. But probably like 7 or 8.
Shazam is 7.
So Danny, Man of Steel was your favorite DCEU movie.
Yes, it is the best.
I'm gonna think about that. Stig, you can say yours if you got it off the top of your head.
Aquaman is 2nd.
It just struck me that Terrence and Danny don't agree much, do they?
That is not true, Danny. Danny, tell Stig that is not true.
Yeah, we agree. We agree. Sometimes we be on the far end of the spectrum, but for the most part, if you join our shows on Sunday, we pretty much in agreement on stuff. But this tonight, I guess, is an anomaly. Because even Sean saying some stuff that's
anomaly. Don't you think that's like maybe the wrong word to?
Stick with your favorite.
That's the correct word. This is the first night that we really been on opposite end of the spectrum. Isn't that an anomaly?
But that's not true, Danny. Remember we were like agreeing. Remember when you explained it, then I explained it, and then you were like, "Oh, I understand, Terrence. I don't know what I was thinking, Terrence." Remember?
I'm saying
guys, get it over with. It's okay.
We have not been on the same page. We're on the opposite end of the spectrums.
But that's a little bit extreme, Danny. I feel like we're more in the center, balanced. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Stig.
Go ahead, Stig.
I don't know which is my favorite, but I had the most fun, I think, when I watched Aquaman. I thought that was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie.
Yeah, and there was nothing wrong with that one. It really fleshed out the character.
And the way they filmed in the water,
yeah, watered down.
Out of sight, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a bit watered down and a bit salty.
A bit watered down and salty.
Yeah.
I was having trouble picking between Shazam, or not Shazam, but Aquaman and Wonder Woman. But I think I ultimately have to go with Wonder Woman.
You like Wonder Woman better than Man of Steel?
Okay, Danny, I will say this. When I saw Man of Steel, I was like, this is one of the best comic book movies I've ever seen. But unfortunately, because of a lot of humans not reading comic books, they're going to underrate the movie, and they will probably say things that they have no idea what they're talking about. And then I saw Wonder Woman, and I was like, uh-oh.
I thought Man of Steel was shit.
You thought what, Stig?
That Man of Steel was shit, except for the female.
What?
Oh my, Stig.
I'm gonna say 2 words. Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon was the ultimate Zod.
No, Terrence Stamp was.
No, Terrence Stamp was dope, but see, Michael Shannon Zod was like, yo, you're talking about this dude. This dude killed Jor-El.
And then that thing at the Phantom Zone. I will find you. It doesn't matter. Man.
Right. You have that, and then also he killed millions of people. Like you're talking about, he showed up to Metropolis, he did the terraforming, and he beat the piss out of Superman until they destroyed the entire city. Literally.
I like Terrence Stamp.
You like what?
I like Terrence too.
Yeah, I like Terrence Stamp better.
Yeah.
You know what, Stig? Like, because I think Terrence Stamp did a great job. I'm not like mad at you or anything, but like, Stig, you know, my heart can only take so much. The fact that you said the Man of Steel sucks, like I don't.
No, I said it was shit.
Yeah,
but that's still bad, Stig. Like, are you sure we're talking about that Man of Steel? There might have been maybe another movie that you might be
about Superman 4, Stig. Because if you say that was shit, I'm in total agreement with you.
No, Superman 4 was better than Man of Steel.
Oh my!
No!
It had that radioactive guy.
Stig? No, like this has to be. My phone is messing up. Stig did not say it like that.
Stig is banned from streaming for 2 weeks.
I am trolling.
Oh man. Oh, all right, Stig. Like, before I kill over and die, you're gonna have to tell me the truth.
I wish he was on that stream. We listed the best Superman movies.
Oh man,
what you gonna say?
To be honest, I'd say Man of Steel is a 7 out of 10.
That's
fair. Yeah.
I probably Stig. About the same rate.
You were joking about Superman 4, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, Superman 3 and 4 can kiss my ass. I wasn't.
I could deal with 3 just because of Richard Pryor factor.
You can both calm down now.
Even Richard Pryor being in 3, it was like, yo, respect. You're like one of the funniest people ever. But this movie should not have been made. It shouldn't have been made. I just.
All right, gentlemen, we have gone over the 2-hour mark. I think we're going.
Oh, wait. I got to say my favorite DCEU movie.
Oh, I thought you already had.
No, I was thinking about it. That's why I let it stick.
All right, go ahead.
My favorite DCEU movie is.
Why she say this bullshit?
It's going to be.
He's going to say Batman versus Superman.
Batman and Robin.
What? That's not even a DCEU movie. That's horrible. You know what? It's honestly a tie between Man of Steel and Wonder Woman. It's a tie.
That should be Iron Man 3.
I thought you were about to say Green Lantern.
Oh my God, that's not a DCEU movie either.
I don't know. I was just trying to get a reaction out of you, and it worked.
Yeah, it honestly though it is a tie because with Wonder Woman, the reason why I had that was because I was like, Man of Steel is not going to be beat. Like at the time when I saw it, I was like, there's only one movie that I can see at this immediate moment beating it, and it would have to be a Justice League movie. And then after that, I thought like maybe a Green Lantern movie. But yeah, but when Wonder Woman happened, I'm like, man, this is how I like my badass female characters. No agenda. She's just awesome and likable. She doesn't like bash men because they're men. It was like she had a whole crew and they were all men. And remember that one scene, guys, when that one guy when he had the PTSD and he couldn't fire his firearm and he was like, oh, maybe I should go home. I'm useless. And then she was like, no, who would sing for us? Man, them tears was rolling down my cheeks in the theater, Danny. When she and then he started singing and she had the most beautiful smile. I was like, see, that's the kind of woman that you need by your side. Like she just uplifts everybody. She makes everybody feel super.
The thing that got me, like that sold me on that movie, was the no man's land scene. You know, she was just out there and she was just charging, and I was like, that's Wonder Woman. That's what Wonder Woman would do.
That's right.
In that she broke up that robbery. She was hell in that too, boy.
Oh hell yeah! That scene in Justice League in the beginning when she broke up the robbery, that was fire. When she was blocking those bullets and shit, that was dope.
I love when they do this stuff in slow motion so you can actually see it. It's all super fast. I don't like it.
I like it, like, and you can do that, but sometimes, like you said, I want to see it. So have your fast moments to show us that this character's fast as hell, but also do like how they did with Wonder Woman, or even in the Flash show, how we got those moments where we see him sometime turn the corner and then he'll get punched by somebody or something. Like have that kind of stuff.
The smoothest one is I love the MC movies that showcase the Quicksilver moments. Those are my favorite.
So Simon, all the talk of Man is Still being shit reminded me of how a lot of people get mad at me when I tell them that Spider-Man 2 is my least favorite Spider-Man movie.
Simon
with Tobey Maguire?
Yeah.
Dang. Simon, that's funny.
Don't take the
Simon,
bait.
what is your favorite Spider-Man movie?
Me?
No, I'm asking Simon what his favorite Spider-Man movie is. Because I mean, I think most people would say Spider-Man 2 is like a classic.
My favorite. Go ahead, Danny.
My favorite's the one with the lizard.
The Amazing Spider-Man 1?
Yep.
That one is underrated. I thought it was awesome.
Oh, well, okay. See
you didn't like it, Sig?
No, I liked it. The one with the lizard? Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, the second one was trash.
One with Electro. Jamie Foxx was the wrong Electro.
I think
that's a prime example. Jamie Foxx is an Oscar-nominated actor, but he got Electro wrong. The same way that Johnny Depp could get the Joker wrong. Perfect.
You know what? But that's just the writing, though, Danny, because that movie is bad. The only good moment in that whole movie was when Gwen Stacy died. That scene was fire, but everything else was trash.
There we go. Simon responded. He said his favorite Spider-Man movies Into the Spider-Verse, and I cannot
mine too
for that.
Mine too.
I love that movie.
Never
because Stig, you got to check that one out, because from my perspective, like, again with the comics and stuff, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is like the best ideal that you can do, like in terms of everything that they done. So yeah, they had a bunch of Spider-Man.
Dandelion Fluff don't like Ben Affleck. What? Are you crazy?
Wonder Woman is my fave. Aquaman is second. I just don't like Ben Affleck, so I'm not into the ones he's in.
I don't like him either.
You're fired.
Dang, but yeah, like before Into the Spider-Verse, though, my favorite one was Spider-Man 2 for the longest time, and that's still actually one of my favorite comic book movies ever.
With Dr. Octopus.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was that whole. But see, here's the thing, though.
He's my least favorite Spider-Man, so I can't co-sign that.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But but Spider-Man 2 though, the villain was great, the story was great. Like Spider-Man 2 is just a great movie. Like, if I were to compare that, like, I remember I compared it to, like, say, Homecoming and Far From Home. To me, those are better Spider-Man movies, but Spider-Man 2 is a better movie. Because it has a lot of drama in it.
I don't think Dr. Octopus was a better villain than Mysterio.
I think so. I think so.
He was actually.
I think so because Mysterio,
but the least power, the better villain.
Mysterio was actually a very good villain. You know, when we're talking about the MCU, because the MCU has weak ass villains. Let's be real.
Right. He's a good villain for that. But okay, if you compare, Dr. Ock almost killed Spider-Man a bunch of times. Just that scene when they were fighting on the train, and Peter had to.
When he had those illusions, we had illusions that last time, and Spider-Man hadn't developed his spider sense. He was trying to learn how to do it. Mysterio was fucking it up.
Yeah, Mysterio himself was using contraptions. Dr. Octopus was using Dr. Octopus. So to me, that's better than someone sending drones, because you and I could do the same thing.
Dead is dead, bro.
Danny right now can send drones to attack Spider-Man until he gets over them, and then he just snaps our shit up. But with Dr. Ock, there is no getting over anything. You have to fight him, which is something that happened throughout the entire movie. We're talking about hands-on, the villain beating the piss out of the hero.
I understand what you're saying, but whether I get stabbed and die with a knife or I get shot with a gun and die, I'm still dead. So I don't care about that.
Wow.
I got you, but like let's be real though. Like the movie with Spider-Man 2, it just had all this compelling stuff. Like it was deep, and like it made me sad. Like Spider-Man movies are not supposed to be like that. That's why I said that like Far From Home is a better Spider-Man movie. But the movie itself, though, is not better than Spider-Man 2. Because Spider-Man 2 has all those stakes. You're talking about Peter had to save a train full of people. He lost his powers, and then he had to get them back. He almost got murdered like 4 times in the movie versus something like Far From Home, which is a better Spider-Man movie because he's more jokey and he acts more like Spider-Man from the comics. But what was the movie about? The movie was about, I don't want to be Spider-Man. I want to go on vacation with the students. And here's a guy that does illusions because he was upset at Tony Stark. Like, that's nowhere near as compelling as Spider-Man 2. Because he doesn't even want to be Spider-Man. He was spending half of the movie trying to avoid his responsibilities. He just wanted to go on vacation.
I feel like we could talk about this for another 10 hours, guys, but we've been on it for over 2 hours, so we're gonna have to end the stream because I'm about ready to zone out. So Terrence, Danny, Stieg, and Chris, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the wonderful people in the chats. Thank you for the super chat, Rosetta. Certainly appreciate it. And we are here Sunday through Tuesday, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. And Sundays at times may vary. I think we're doing it at 3 o'clock. Yeah. Until we can get that sorted out. But Tuesdays Mondays and Tuesdays are both at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. So be sure to tune into our programs, and the link for Chaos Central, where all these videos are going to be hosted, down below. So make sure you subscribe to that.
One thing. Also join me and Terrence. We're doing our new show, which we named Equilibrium, on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, make sure you subscribe to everybody on this channel right now. And aside from that, guys, thank you guys so much for being on here. It was a lot of fun.
It was. Sorry I was late, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, always. Yep. Stig, I'm glad. Stig, I'm glad we got to talk, man. Like it was awesome.
Yep.
All right,
guys.
Until next time, take care. We'll see you again next time.
Hey guys, thanks for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe to both channels and make sure to check out our friends in the Fandom Minutes. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and BitChute. And you can also send us an email at SHAUN@ShaunStackhouseReacts.com and Chris Knight at TheRealReview3000.com. Be sure to swing by our Teespring store to pick up some awesome merchandise.